Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, welcome back to my F1 Road to Glory series for 2019, for episode number 8 today at the French GP. But before we get into that a big exciting announcement here on the channel, guys. So you might have seen it if you follow me on Twitter and Instagram, but today I revealed on those social media platforms a little teaser photo here, you'll see it on screen right now, that I am doing for the very first time in the history of me doing this channel. I'm going to be releasing my very first ever apparel clothing line in 1 week's time. Going to be doing the full reveal next week here. I know over the last year or so especially, some of you guys who do follow me on those social media platforms have been asking if I'll ever do this kind of thing, and the day has come, the time has finally come where I've put a lot of work into this behind the scenes with my esports team Veloce. It's a really exciting time, and so hopefully the teaser image whets some of your appetites for what might be coming in the next week. So just keep your eyes peeled on those social media platforms for the full reveal next week. It's a really exciting drop, really exciting times, but just wanted to announce that for the very first time in a video like this before we get on there. But let's get on now. That's the announcement. Really exciting times. But now we move on and concentrate on this French GP for the Road to Glory. Last time for the Canadian Grand Prix, it was a very successful Grand Prix, to say the least. So you've got to say, absolute carnage. But for us at the end of the day, a very solid result. Jump both hasses here. And now we join Hulkenberg, and now we overtake another car. It's Verstappen, I think that is, in the Red Bull. So Norris has got his front tyre off. The Toro Rosso slammed his front left off. But Leclerc's going to come through. My teammates all throughout this Grand Prix, by the way. So I'm left here straggling along in P5 though on P18, and that's the most important thing. It's P5. So aarava, following a 5th place and 10 points in a single race after coming in last place and so many 0-point finishes so far this season, you got to think the team is going to be rewarding you with some kind of, contract bonus perhaps, some sort of payment bonus, or, just a solid cup of tea when you're coming to the factory on the weekend in between the Grand Prix to work on the car and go through your debriefs there. I mean, the morale must be high. You got to say the momentum must be absolutely electric coming off that amazing result.
We had a major issue on the production line earlier this week, so the entire development package for this weekend has failed.
I'm actually done with this team. Even when we do well, we do horrendous. Great stuff there. Front downforce failure has not come through there. So the one thing we probably needed in the car coming off the back of Canada was front downforce, or just even any downforce, to be honest. Any, a man sitting on top of the car generating downforce from his weight could be kind of better than nothing. But that's what we have. We have nothing coming to Paul Ricard, and that's going to be tricky because Sector 1 and Sector 3 is going to be horrendous. It's not like Canada. There's not enough places like the back straight where we can make up time. It is going to be quite a tough Grand Prix. And if my team expect the same result as they did at Canada, I will actually lose my shit, because they really will piss me off. They expect me to pull off a Canada-style performance. And it's very apparent from qualifying that definitely will not be the case. The car definitely does not have any sort of grace like a ballet dancer like Claire suggested in interviews. I mean, look at that. The amount of understeer on the left-hand side there. We were actually driving an HCV tractor there. I think we're ready just to quit F1, go into the farming business, because the Williams farming team will be much better. You know what? They're doing Farming Simulator esports soon. I think Williams need to enter that as a team. They do absolutely amazing there. In the end, it's an absolutely pathetic result.
It's a bit disappointing, but we just need to push hard in the race and we can still come away with something.
You know what pisses me off about that? My engineer saying he's disappointed at the result is the fact that 1 race ago, before Canada, he probably would have been loving that result. He would have been like, oh, good job, lad, good job, P19, you're beating your teammate, great stuff. That's what the team expects. But now you get P5, 10 points once, and now they expect the world of you. This is the problem. This is the issue with Formula 1. You do something once, and they want you to repeat it over and over and over again. I'm just tired. It's not possible. It's just not. I'm done. I'm already upset, and it hasn't even happened yet. We haven't even done the race yet. Speaking of the race, let's get into that then. It's going to be a very difficult one. Obviously, I did make a mistake. The understeer wasn't really always going to be there. We definitely went in a little bit too hot, expecting too much of the car. So I think we can do better than 19th place, but it is going to be quite tricky. I think the race pace isn't going to be that great, because from previous career modes, Paul Ricard is always a difficult circuit. And with a 1-stop here, it's going to be difficult to do anything clever with the strategy. So we just have to go in there and just make the most of it. Maybe do a bit of a trolley train, to be honest. I can't lie. way, that might be the best strategy. But, you know, either way, we're going to have to try something. So here we go then to 5 red lights for the French GP, and we're underway. Initially, a very good getaway there, so I think already you can tell maybe that our car should have been higher up in qualifying as we try and go in the middle of Lando Norris there, and the Toro Rosso we get a little bit squeezed out. I was very cautious in the braking zone, and you can see why, because if I'd stayed in the middle there, who would have known? I probably would have DNF'd out this Grand Prix straight away on lap 1, turn 1. So we're still P19, but now we've got some space down the inside to send it down the inside of 2 of those cars. Still, it is Norris, and it's Alexander Albon there on the left-hand side. Now it's also Giovinazzi as we go for a late lunge over the curbs, and it's a brilliant little move there. Catch him napping somewhat there. Don't know if he knew I was coming. We're up into P16 now. We're right on the back of Lance Stroll, who's not going to give us too much room, but we managed to carve our way through, and so we're making a spectacular start. It's Canada all over again, perhaps. We slipstream Sergio Perez now, move to the left-hand side, and we're going to try and do him under braking. It's a late lunge, and it's nearly completely off the circuit, as we don't actually have enough physical grip in the car to stop the car from that late of a brake point there, but we do the job anyway and squeeze out Sergio Perez. It's a ding-dong battle up ahead for Kvyat there and the other McLaren of Carlos Sainz. Let's try and get involved if we can, but from now on it might be a little bit more difficult as we move forward then. But Carlos Sainz side by side with a Haas car. No, there's contact, and that's one less car to worry about. Is that maybe the start of absolute carnage as there was in Canada? Let's hope so, but that's one Haas car we'd have to deal with there. I think it was Grosjean there who got absolutely yeeted off the track by Carlos Sainz. But now we move on to lap number 2, looking at this fight up ahead between the Toro Rosso and McLaren. But we've also got the Racing Point car on the left-hand side. Perez going to send one to the inside there, very late on the brakes, and Kvyat even later as he has a double lock up there. Carlos Sainz also somewhat flustered, and so those two go side by side. Racing Point v McLaren. Can we get involved? Maybe make it 3 wide? No, as Perez already overtakes him, but we can overtake the Spaniard here to the inside. Can we get the McLaren? This will be quite good. Obviously, we've had quite a heated battle with McLaren, and we were the ones low down the order with them earlier on this season with 0 points for each of us here, but now we're ahead of them, and so I'm sure that's going to be a little bit bitter to overtake them once more in this Grand Prix and be ahead of him. But of course, none of us are in the points yet. Actually, we're still fighting over the wooden spoon, all of us, because points are a lot further up ahead on the minimap there. As we now move on to lap number 3, DRS is now activated, but as much as I want to say it's going to help us out, it's actually going to help Sainz out, close up to us, right up our gearbox actually, and instead also ahead it'll be Perez overtaking Kvyat potentially. If those two go side by side enough though, and they hold each other up just like that, we might be able to close up enough to maybe make a move, but Sainz is looking so dangerous here. We're going to have to go quite defensive, I think, on the exit, because we also don't have too much ERS to play around with. He's going to move to the right. We're going to cut him off there, and then meanwhile, Kvyat and Perez are still fighting, and Sainz is very much still sniffing around me, but Perez gets overtaken then, re-overtaken by the Toro Rosso car. Brilliant stuff. So now we have a look on the outside, but foolishly, I don't have the grip. I've gone too wide, and now Sainz has absolutely done me to the inside there. I don't know why on earth I thought, oh, you know what, I've got the grip to go around the outside of a Racing Point car there. I mean, let's forget about qualifying, how slow the car felt through these corners. I'll just send it, and we nearly sent it off the track there, and instead I've been embarrassed by Sainz now, and I've got Giovinazzi bearing down my neck, so we'll have to try and re-overtake him if we can. But as the laps go on, the car gets a little bit slower and slower, really, in reality, because the AI speed up a little bit, gets settled down into the race, and also the tyre wear kicks in as well. But we are gaining on Sainz with DRS. Could we maybe make a move to the outside? No, Carlos Sainz has moved in the brake zone, then he's put us off completely. We're off circuit now. I have to take avoiding action not to hit the back end of his car and completely rear-end him. And now where is Sainz? We have to let him back through. Illegal overtake, and he's back there because he's also lost time himself. So he's basically just screwed over both our races, and now we're side by side once again with him, and this time I'm very upset. We're going to try and squeeze him out now on the next right-hander. I've done my work. I've let him back through for a split second there for the illegal overtake apparently, and we're now back up into P16, but I don't know what on earth he was doing, to be honest, because he moved in the brake zone, wobbled around. I had to take avoiding action, and then he himself lost time anyway, so I lost even more time having to wait up for him, and other cars that I didn't have to let by went through anyway, and now we just about narrowly defended against Lando Norris, his teammate. We're basically being attacked by McLaren. They're clearly very salty about us not being behind them anymore. Like, it was us at the bottom saving them from grace of not being last place in Formula 1, and clearly they're just very upset about it now. They have to resort to just these dirty, underhanded tactics of trying to overtake us like that and just push us off the circuit like Norris was trying. So, you know, it's not on. I'm not going to stand for it, and we're just going to have to stand against it. But we're out now in P18 after our one and only pit stop of the Grand Prix. We've actually jumped Giovinazzi in the pit stop. So again, my team doing some great work in the pit lane there. Like I said last episode, they can't do anything else, so they may as well do that to the best of their ability. And now we go and overtake Alexander Albon. So at least we've got some positives to take from this now in this Grand Prix. You know, coming back at some of these cars that are slower than us, so we can actually have some joy at overtaking. Saying that though, Albon actually comes back at us here, and so it looks like we might have quite a tight scrap with the Thai Brit driver here. It seems like because we're using so much ERS on the main straight, we don't have enough to really contend on the exit of the chicane. But saying that, Albon goes a little bit wide here, and we're actually going to make a move to the inside. And would you look at that? What a stunning move that is. I thought that was going to be impossible in this car, seeing the previous laps and how qualifying went, so that was stunning. And so Albon would come back again in the exact same place in the circuit. It's deja vu here. Instead, we're going a little bit more side by side actually this time, so we're going to have to try and make a move on the outside, and I don't know how well that's going to go. We're going to cut actually back to the inside, brake early, and again do him on the inside. So you know what? I think we found our racing line. I think we found the area of the track where our car's actually working quite well there, braking early and cutting in there. Should have done that at Carlos Sainz, to be fair. And now, as we move on to the second last lap of the Grand Prix, we're catching up to Nico Hulkenberg, who's going very, very slow there. I think he must have some sort of issue, but of course, for PR's sake, we'll say that he's running normally and that we're actually just genuinely this fast and we can overtake a Renault like this, because obviously you have to think about the PR here. Let's gloss over the issue he definitely has. And so look at that, we're overtaking it. Confirmed, Williams faster than Renault. How do you like that, Claire Williams? That's going to make your PR stuff very, very easy at the end of this Grand Prix. You know, just the title of it will just be Williams beats Renault, Glory Days returned, and that's just good enough for the PR press release, really. But before we finish off this successful day, we're going to have to fend off Albon still once more again on lap number 12. He's on the outside. It's actually brilliant racing there, to be fair, from the Toro Rosso Jr., as we're so close to banging tyres. That could have easily been a DNF with the tyre shearing off, but we managed to make it work once more. And so now for a final time on the last lap of the Grand Prix, we're not even in the points, we're P13. It's the 13th lap, and we're fighting for 13th place. It's just not great, is it, compared to what we had last episode? It really has been a return to reality, I think, for the Williams team and myself, but it was always going to happen, to be honest, after that absolute carnage at Canada. And now we're side by side. He's done the job, actually, Albon, before the usual place he's overtaken me. And actually, in fact, I'm now the one gaining speed as we enter the full right-hander there. It's Valtteri Bottas that has won the Grand Prix. To be fair, I haven't really been keeping track of who wins these Grand Prix so far in this career, but I don't know about you guys, as we're too busy fighting over the places we are fighting for. And you can see it's getting very, very frosty, because now I've lost a bit of downforce on the front right. Wait, I didn't think it was possible for us to lose downforce, to be honest. I mean, now, do we have, like, negative downforce on that front right? Are we generating lift on that front right of the wing? I'm pretty sure that's what's happening right here. Watch out, we might just take off down this main straight like a runway, but we're just about going to finish in P13 there for a brilliant 0 points. 0.
Nice work, you did well today. I think the boss will be happy with that one.
You what, mate? He's going to be happy with that? Are you on something? Huh? I don't know what on earth Claire Williams gets up to in her spare time on the weekends, but why are we going to be happy and thrilled about 0 points there? Nothing happened in that race that was notable, unless you're referring to us overtaking a Renault legitly without him having issues. That's fair play, but 0 points today, that is not something to be happy about. You know I said we shouldn't expect a lot of things after Canada, but we should at least expect to be scoring maybe at least 1 point now as our car, improves quite steadily there, but instead 0 points. And you know what? In typical Road to Glory failure fashion, do you know what happened? Do you want to know what happened? The game crashed. Yep, the game crashed. This is now, this portion of the video, this is the game loading back in. Once I rebooted the game, it crashed straight to my desktop. And yeah, this is the race starting over again because the game crashed before I left that results screen, so it didn't save any of the results. Thankfully, we didn't score any points, so I just retired from this Grand Prix, because if you actually expected me to redo that entire Grand Prix just to get 0 points again, you completely overestimate my patience with the F1 game, and especially this Williams car, but it's all fine. We've still got 400 extra points for qualifying 18th and above in the last 2 races there, so at least we've got that going for us. And finally now, we get a second chance at the contract talks here, and we're going to try and get a better deal I'm not going to go too high. We actually went a little bit too on the first attempt, so I had to try and lowball myself and make sure we just got a better contract, basically. So in the end, I didn't get a very good deal, but at least we go through, basically, and we can get a new contract. So that's going to be mega for us in terms of just reducing the time and the simultaneous developments we can do on the car. Unfortunately, that kicks in from next episode, so we still can't simultaneously upgrade 2 parts in one department quite yet, but from next episode, we can. So maybe from this point onwards, we'll really start to crank up upgrades on the car if, and it's a big if our team can actually bother to turn up to the factory the next morning and actually make those upgrades. But guys, if you did enjoy this episode of the Road to Glory series, then be sure to smash that like button. Let me know your thought in the comments below. If you are new around, subscribe for weekly full-on content. I've been aarava. Hope you enjoyed today. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.